A dead deer lies on the grass as Bear starts a flashback about his mom's advice. A whole pack of weasel-looking things are absolutely mauling the deer carcass. Wolf Bro is getting his meal in, thinking about how his mom told him to be a coward sometime. A massive paw steps into the frame while our guy is still questioning that whole be a coward thing. Mid-bite, Wolf Bro's eye goes wide as he finally senses he's not alone. A giant bear's nose sniffs the air, and my man is still pondering the meaning of fear. The absolute unit of a bear strolls into the clearing like he owns the place. The rest of the pack completely loses their minds, screaming that the beast is here. The bear plants its huge paw down as the pack calls him a foul-tempered bastard. Big Bear lets out a massive roar, pretty much telling everyone to get the hell out of his kitchen. The rest of the pack is frozen in fear, sweating bullets over the deer carcass. Wolf Bro questions why he shouldn't use his strength, and Big Bear looks genuinely confused. Our guy starts barking at the bear, and his packmates are absolutely losing it over his death wit. He gives a whole speech about pride and not backing down after starving for 3 days. Big Bear's paw comes flying in to interrupt that speech with a dose of reality. The bear just swats Wolf Bro, sending him flying like he weighs absolutely nothing. Our boy is bleeding out midair, still monologuing about his strength being his essence. The pack just stares in complete shock as their brave leader gets one shot. Wolf Bro's body slams into the ground as Big Bear takes his seat at the dinner table. The terrified pack bows down as the bear asks them how they feel about his methods. Big Bear stands over the deer carcass while the terrified pack just watches him. The bear hits them with the, "Any of you want to try me?" look, daring them to move. The entire pack immediately tucks tail and bolts out of there at top speed. Big Bear calls them morons for only understanding the situation after seeing their boy get wrecked. The bear's eye narrows as he glances back, still thinking about the confrontation. A final shot of the deer carcass before the bear claims his hard-earned meal. Big Bear starts eating, saying the free meat is the only reason the pack is still alive. We get a random history lesson about a prehistoric mega bear as he walks away. The bear lets out a massive blood-splattered burp after finishing his meal. Skeleton, and Big Bear is already complaining about being hungry again. Big Bear licks his paw clean, deciding he doesn't care about the drama. The bear gets up, ready to move on after his appetizer. He takes a big sniff of the air, contemplating his next move. Big Bear lets out a massive roar as the narrator starts a history lesson. His ear twitches, picking up on something in the distance. We get a full-on documentary card identifying him as a prehistoric mega bear. The narrator explains that these ancient bears were typically omnivores. But, of course, the story hits us with the "this one is different" trope. Big Bear's eyes snap open, confirming he's built more robust than his ancestor. He locks onto a target southeast and starts walking like he's got a dinner reservation. Big Bear takes off at a full sprint, looking way too happy about finding more food. The narrator explains he's a meat connoisseur, following the scent of blood to his next meal. We're told he completely ignores berries and grass because he's a strict carnivore. My man is booking it across the plains, moving way faster than a bear should. The narrator hypes up his meat obsession, saying it's on a whole different level. We cut to a leopard who just scored a fresh horse kill for dinner. The leopard stands over its prize, probably thinking about how good this meal will be. Big Bear crests the hill like the damn Terminator, spotting the leopard's hard-earned meal. The bear roars, basically telling the leopard he's about to get jacked for his food. The leopard immediately nopes out of there, realizing it's not worth fighting a walking mountain. The narrator explains Big Bear gets a kick out of watching his victims run for their lives. Big Bear complains about the leopard being a coward, but admits he would have killed him anyway. My man takes a big whiff of the fresh horse meat, getting ready to feast. The bear gets all excited about the freshness of his stolen meal, ready to dig in. Big Bear opens his massive jaws to take his first bite of the stolen horse. Suddenly, loud-ass crunching sounds start coming from the nearby trees. Mid-chew, Big Bear stops, realizing he might not be alone after all. A ridiculously huge foot with massive claws stomps down right next to him. Big Bear gives the newcomer a death stare, looking completely unfazed by the size difference. The challenger is revealed to be a massive prehistoric sloth called a myelodon. The narrator explains this giant sloth, the myelodon, is an omnivore that also eats meat. Big Bear just sighs, calling the sloth the real clueless beast for trying to step to him. The two giants face off, with Big Bear promising to show him the difference in their levels. The Myelodon flexes its absolutely massive claws, trying to pull an intimidation move. We get a close-up of the sloth's claws, which are basically prehistoric dagger. Big Bear is completely unfazed, mocking the sloth for thinking a claw flex would work. The Myelodon gets triggered and throws a wild haymaker with its giant paw. Big Bear effortlessly dodges the swing while calling the sloth a punk. My man winds up his own paw, ready to deliver a serious dose of pain. Big Bear lands a vicious strike, promising to show the sloth what a real fight looks like. The Myelodon is stumbling around all bloody as Big Bear taunts him about the fight being over. Big Bear gets pissed off, screaming that he's not done with the beatdown yet. My man absolutely decks the sloth with a follow-up strike, sending blood everywhere. The sloth's head gets completely twisted around from the impact of that monster hit. The Myelodon's body contorts as it goes down for the count, and Big Bear just watches. We get an overhead shot of the sloth laid out cold as Big Bear stands over his work. The Myelodon lets out a final groan, barely conscious after that absolute thrashing. Big Bear lets out a massive victory roar, confirming he's the king of this jungle. The narrator hits us with the "he's the strongest" line as the sloth lies defeated. We flash back to a baby Big Bear whose name is Bjorn getting chewed out by his mom. Mama Bear is laying into baby Bjorn for bullying his weaker brother. She keeps yelling, asking why he's always stealing food from other cubs. Bjorn just sweats, looking completely over this lecture as his mom threatens to get mad. My man talks back, complaining that she's always mad and picking on him anyway. His mom takes him to a cliff for a heart-to-heart, asking if he knows why she scolds him. Baby just sits there looking sad and clueless, like he has no idea. Mama Bear's face softens, showing she's actually just worried about her little monster. The kid asks if she's always on his case because he's her least favorite. Bjorn looks genuinely surprised as his mom calls him out on that nonsense. She finally tells him it's because she worries about him, and our boy realizes she actually cares. Baby looks up, finally processing his mom's words about him being a little monster. Mama Bear tells him life sucks, and adult admits he didn't listen to a damn word. We cut to some prehistoric armadillo swinging a literal mace for a tail. The mace tail is squaring up for what the narrator calls an inevitable showdown. Two of these armored dudes start circling each other in a classic territorial pissing mat. They continue their dance as the narrator explains this is some serious business. One of the armored tanks gets aggressive, knowing the loser gets kicked out of town. His opponent is absolutely terrified, realizing he might actually die over this. The poor guy is still shaking as the narrator talks about a fair and square fight. And, of course, the fight ends with the scared one getting his face caved in. The loser mace tail is down for the count, screeching in agony after that beatdown. We get a slow mo replay of the mace tail connecting right to the poor bastard's face. The defeated armadillo is writhing on the ground as the narrator explains the high stakes. The winner stands there, face splattered with blood, looking like an absolute savage. The narrator hits us with the "their whole future was on the line" speech. My man's eye socket is completely caved in from that brutal finishing move. The grass is literally stained with blood, showing just how violent that showdown was. The winner stands tall over the loser, officially ending the territorial dispute. The defeated mace tail struggles to his feet, knowing he's been exiled. The loser begins his walk of shame. Forced to leave his home after getting wrecked, the defeated mace tail stumbles into the woods, barely holding himself together after that beatdown. My man is crawling on the ground, completely exhausted and just trying to find a place to crack. He drags his broken body down a path, probably thinking the worst is over. The poor bastard lets out a sigh of relief, thinking he's finally safe. But a random scavenger bear pops up behind him, ready to ruin his already terrible debt. The mace tail looks up in absolute horror, realizing he just walked from one L to another. A loud thwack echoes through the trees as the bear makes his move. And just like that, the exiled mace tail is laid out dead on the ground. The scavenger bear starts licking the corpse, laughing about his lucky day and the free meal. He gets hyped about the fresh meat, saying this feast is going to last him a while. The scavenger bear struggles to drag the mace tail's corpse, complaining about the weight. He finally gets the body situated, ready to dig into his hard-earned stolen meal. Just as he's about to eat, he spots a massive footprint that definitely isn't his. The bear's eye twitches as his survival instincts finally kick in, telling him something is wrong. He looks down at the giant paw print, realizing he's got an uninvited guest. We get a wide shot of the bear and his kill, setting the stage for another confrontation. Loud crunching sounds suddenly echo from the trees, interrupting the quiet meal. We cut to a different nervous-looking bear asking his buddy if they're actually safe. His partner is too busy stuffing his face to care, asking what he's so worried about. The nervous one reminds him they're trespassing on the turf of the infamous Bjorn. The nervous bear questions if they should be eating so casually on someone else's turf. His greedy buddy dismisses the concern, saying they just stumbled upon the free meal. The greedy bear tries to convince himself that the rumors about Bjorn are just exaggerated. A massive paw steps into frame just as he's talking shit about the local legend. He questions the rumor that Bjorn kills for fun, completely oblivious to his impending doom. Big Bear appears on the ridge, already complaining about the lack of respect from these kids. My man immediately calls them out, asking who gave them permission to be on his land. The two trespassing bears finally see approaching and realize they've made a huge mistake. Bjorn lays down the law, telling the trespassers that the first one to move is a dead man. Our guy gives them a death stare, clearly contemplating how he's going to wreck their day. A mama bear with her cubs asks if it's just the three of them trespassing. The nervous bear addresses Bjorn with way too much respect, clearly about to piss himself. He starts frantically explaining they didn't know it was his forest and just chased their food here. His buddy chimes in with the same excuses. Bjorn scoffs, completely over their whining. Bjorn finally tells the two punks to shut their mouths, and they immediately freeze up. My man asks if they really think he's some lunatic who kills just for trespassing. He acts all understanding, saying he gets that young bears make mistakes while hunting. The two idiots actually fall for it, sighing in relief that the rumors were fake. The nervous bear looks over, hearing something and looking completely confused. Paw crushes the greedy bear's skull, and he gives the other one 10 seconds. The nervous bear just stares in shock at his buddy's freshly caved-in skull. Lays down the rules for his sick game of tag. If he catches you, you're dinner. The poor bastard finally realizes he's screwed and starts screaming for his life. A 10-second countdown starts, turning the entire forest into a death trap. The nervous bear is still counting down in his head, absolutely losing his mind. My man is booking it through the woods as the countdown gets dangerously low. Bjorn lets out a bang to signal the start of the hunt, looking way too happy about it. This psycho admits he's addicted to the thrill of the hunt and gets ready to move. Bjorn takes a big sniff, locking onto the scent of pure, unadulterated fear. My man starts tracking his prey, wondering where the little punk is hiding. Bjorn starts screaming into the woods, calling out the hiding bear like a damn game show host. My man gives the poor bastard a 3-second countdown to show himself or face the consequences. The nervous bear is sweating buckets while hugging a tree, hoping Bjorn can't count. Bjorn finishes his count and announces with a grin that playtime is officially over. He warns his prey not to get caught as the nervous bear scrambles away in panic. Bjorn immediately spots the idiot hiding up in the tree, ending this game of hide and seek. The nervous bear hears a rustling sound below and realizes his hiding spot was trash. Bjorn's face appears through the leaves with a creepy found-you stare. The nervous bear completely loses his shit, screaming his head off in absolute terror. Bjorn starts climbing the tree, taunting the guy for being scared after he was warned. Bjorn keeps climbing the tree, telling the poor bastard that the game is officially over. And just like that, the nervous bear is on the ground, bloody and accepting his fate. Bjorn stands over his fresh kill, noting he got one and the other family must have escaped. He looks up into the woods, figuring the mama bear and her cubs are long gone by now. My man takes a second to catch his breath after that little game of tag. He decides he'll hunt the others later, saying there's no need to rush the fun. Priority straight, he turns back to the first bear he killed to finish his meal. We get a gnarly close-up of Bjorn tearing into the corpse like it's a buffet. He lets out a satisfied roar after getting his fill of fresh meat. This cannibal walks off, casually mentioning how tasty it is to eat his own kind. The narrator hits us with a lesson on how hunting is apparently a lot of work. We see the mama bear who escaped earlier, now tracking footprints to feed her cub. She's focused, trying to piece together the trail like a damn detective. The poor girl is trekking across the plains, showing how grueling the hunt can be. She's panting and exhausted, but still pushing forward to find a meal. The mama bear gets into position, waiting for the perfect moment to ambush her prey. But her hunter's instincts suddenly go haywire as she realizes she's not alone. She looks back over her shoulder, absolutely terrified by a presence she can't see. My girl is frozen in place, staring at the figure on the hill in pure horror, and it's casually complimenting her on how far she managed to run. Mama bear is completely out of breath, absolutely gassed from the chase. She lets out a final desperate scream. Knowing she's completely screwed, my girl makes a last-ditch effort to escape, screaming at him to stay back. Bjorn just smirks, calling her cute and announcing it's time to end the game. The narrator confirms this psycho isn't hunting. Mama Bear is just running for her life. We're told this is just pure, twisted fun for him as he savors the chase. Decides to take his sweet time, saying he doesn't want to wear himself out. The narrator explains he loves toying with his victims right before the kill. And, of course, she trips over a damn tree branch in her panic. Predictable end. Mama Bear is on the ground completely gassed and accepting her fate. Bjorn casually walks up, telling her this is the end of the line for her. My man actually congratulates her for being the first to last 3 days in his twisted game. Completely defeated, Mama Bear asks why the hell he's even doing this. Bjorn looks genuinely confused, asking her to clarify what she's even talking about. She absolutely loses it, screaming at him for hunting his own kind over trespassing. Bjorn just smirks, asking if she really wants to know his twisted motivation. Mama Bear confirms that, yeah, she'd like to know why she's about to get murdered. This absolute psycho looks down and tells her he does it simply because it's fun. She's horrified as Bjorn explains he just takes good meat when he sees it. Bjorn lays out his simple psycho logic. He's strong. It's fun, so he does it. He raises his paw for the finishing blow as Mama Bear makes a last-second plea. Bjorn absolutely flattens her, mocking her for begging right at the very end. My man lets out a satisfied sigh, blood splattered all over his face like it's nothing. We get a gnarly shot of Mama Bear's caved-in skull as Bjorn talks about how good it feels. This cannibal licks his chops clean, savoring the kill like a fine wine. We flash back to baby Bjorn, who claims he finally understood his mom's lesson. His mom is still lecturing him about not stealing food and getting along with his brothers. Baby Bjorn reluctantly agrees to his mom's terms, probably just to shut her up. Mama Bear scoops up her little monster, telling him it's time to go to sleep. Mama Bear tells baby Bjorn he'll eventually understand she was right about everything. We cut to a different Mama Bear sleeping soundly with her 3 cubs in a den. Back in the present, adult Bjorn lets out a smug little laugh, clearly up to no good. My man decides he's not done for the day and goes looking for a bit more fun. Bjorn walks across the plains, spotting something lying in the distance. We cut to a leopard's eye snapping open, looking sharp and completely alert. A young leopard looks over its shoulder, sensing that something is definitely off. The leopard cub turns its head, still on high alert after being woken from its sleep. The cub asks its mom if she's awake, and she just grunts back that she's not. The mama leopard tells her kids to go back to sleep, completely unaware of the danger. We cut to a mammoth skull as the narrator says goodnight to a new character named Aaron. We flash back to a younger Bjorn, who claims he was a successful hunter after leaving home. But the very next panel shows him completely failing to catch a single horse from a herd. Young Bjorn throws a tantrum as the narrator admits he was actually pretty inexperienced back then. My man is completely gassed, learning the hard way that hunting is actual work. He calls his younger self naive while complaining about having to eat a salad for dinner. Young Bjorn is forced to eat grass, looking absolutely disgusted with his life choices. My man complains about how tasteless the greens are, wondering how anyone eats this crap. He starts whining about how his mom used to bring home meat for him all the time, and we see Mama Bear was indeed a beast dragging home dinner for her picky-ass kid. Young Bjorn looks around, already trying to find the easiest possible meal. He admits that fast prey like horses are too much work for a straight-up chase. My man then considers the macrachenia, the weird long neck things, but he quickly realizes those absolute units are way too big for him to handle. He then spots a glyptodon but knows that armored tank is basically impossible to crack. Even the small stuff like tapirs just pisses him off because they're too damn nimble. Young Bjorn lets out a frustrated sigh, realizing hunting is actually hard work. He starts wishing for a way to get a full meal without putting in any effort. The narrator hints his lazy prayers are answered as he catches a scent on the wind. My man stumbles upon a fresh carcass, realizing he just found a free, delicious meat. Young Bjorn creeps through the grass complaining he can't see what he's smelling. A puma is mid-bite on a carcass and looks up, completely confused by the noise. Our boy's eyes go wide as he realizes he stumbled upon someone else's dinner party. The puma absolutely loses its mind and bolts, leaving Young just standing there. My man watches the cat run, realizing it was too busy eating to even notice him. Young Bjorn looks back, a little light bulb clearly going off in his head. He looks down at the free meal the puma left behind, a perfectly good peccary, a close-up on his eye as the narrator confirms our boy is having a revelation. Young Bjorn approaches the free food, realizing he just found the ultimate life hack. The narrator explains this is the moment he learned how to use his natural advantage. Young Bjorn lets out a roar, fully embracing his new life as a professional bully. My man declares his new motto, if hunting is hard, just steal the damn food. He stands over his stolen prize, calling the original owners cowards for running away. Our boy takes a big bite, confirming that free stolen meat is the best kind of meat. The narrator explains he started ganking food from saber-tooths, jaguars, and wolf. We see a jaguar absolutely booking it after getting its lunch money taken by Bjorn. A whole pack of wolves is forced to run as he explains they just offer up their meal. Young Bjorn savors another stolen kill, commenting on how tender the meat is. But the narrator says some predators like this saber-tooth actually tried to fight back. Even a wolf is shown squaring up, not ready to give up its dinner without a scrap. The wolf that tried to fight back is now screaming in absolute agony. The saber-tooth gets its jaw completely rearranged for trying to defend its meal. The wolf gets its neck snapped back, learning a very hard lesson about property right. Young Bjorn boasts that nobody could handle his fists, showing off the KO'd saber-tooth. We see another one of the challengers laid out cold on the grass, completely wrecked. Young Bjorn stands over the bodies, laughing his ass off at their foolish. My man admits he ate the losers too because why waste good meat? The narrator explains this high-protein diet made him get absolutely jacked. My guy felt like he was absorbing their strength, leveling up with every kill. And just like that, he became an absolute unit even among his own kind. Young Bjorn roars over the bodies of his rivals, cementing his status as an object of fear. My man licks his bloody paw, clearly enjoying his new life as the neighborhood bull. He's shown absolutely dominating another bear while boasting that everyone is terrified of him. We see a close-up of his victim's broken neck as he says no one dares to oppose him. Young Bjorn stands over another kill, roaring that it's all because he's just that strong. The narrator says this is how it should have been, with everyone running scared from him. Suddenly, a wounded tapir starts screeching, interrupting Bjorn's little power trip. Young Bjorn looks over, clearly annoyed that someone is making noise on his turf. A massive saber-toothed tiger appears, roaring like it's actually ready for a fight. The saber-tooth squares up with Bjorn over the kill, looking like a whole different breed. A random mammoth skull is just chilling in the field, setting the stage for this showdown. The saber-tooth lets out a low growl, clearly not intimidated by our boy's reputation. Young Bjorn is completely dumbfounded, wondering if this cat is actually out of its mind. My man can't believe this saber-tooth is openly defying him instead of running for the hills. He's about to write her off as insane until he spots something hidden in the grass. We get a quick shot of a dark little den tucked away from sight, and there's the reason. 2 terrified saber-tooth cubs are hiding inside. Bjorn gets a smug look, realizing this mama cat is only fighting to protect her kid. The saber-tooth mom flinches, knowing he just found her one and only weakness. Our boy gets hyped for the fight, telling her to struggle all she wants for his amusement. Young Bjorn tells the saber-tooth mom to struggle for his amusement. My man promises to make her suffer until the moment she dies, looking absolutely unhinged. A terrified scream echoes from the den as the fight officially kicks off. One of the saber-tooth cubs makes a break for it, running for its damn life. The poor kid is already gassed, stopping to catch its breath in a panic. The cub dives into a bush hiding and hoping for the best. Young Bjorn lets out a roar, clearly having the time of his life with this hunt. He casually swats the saber-tooth mom away as she lunges at him. The other cub is still hiding near the den, absolutely paralyzed with fear. Mama Saber-tooth is on the ground but still growling, refusing to back down. Young Bjorn gets pissed off, winding up a punch and screaming at the saber-toothed mom. My man swings for the fences, yelling at the cat to die as she dodges his attack. He completely whiffs, complaining that she's too fast and dodging like a damn rat. The saber-toothed mom keeps her distance, and Bjorn realizes she's staying just out of his reach. The two circle each other, and our boy has to admit this cat actually knows how to fight. Young Bjorn pauses the beatdown, realizing she's not even trying to protect her food. We get a shot of the dead tapir, confirming it's been completely abandoned in the grass. The saber-tooth mom stays on guard, and Bjorn figures out her only goal is protecting her kids. My man is still confused, wondering why she didn't just grab her kids and run away. The two square up again as Bjorn questions if she's actually delusional enough to think she can win. Young Bjorn realizes the saber-tooth mom is just trying to buy time for her kid, but my man notices that none of the cubs have actually tried to make a run for it. Our boy has a sudden light bulb moment as he starts connecting the dots. He figures out the cubs must be unable to move, forcing their mom into a corner. This psycho smirks, realizing he's found the perfect way to make this fight more entertaining. The saber-tooth mom stands her ground, completely unaware he's figured out her weakness. Bjorn gets hyped and immediately starts the beatdown, saying this makes it more fun. My man is laughing his ass off while chasing her down like it's a damn game. The saber-tooth mom is confused by his wild swings, wondering if he has any strategy. Bjorn lands another sloppy hit, proving that brute force is his only game plan. The saber-tooth mom thinks his wild attacks will just make him tire out faster. Young Bjorn roars his head off, calling her the reckless idiot in this situation. She decides to let the dumbass wear himself out, planning to wait for her opening. Bjorn starts to slow down, and both of them think their plan is working perfectly. Our boy Bjorn gives a look that says he's been playing her this whole damn time. The saber-tooth mom realizes her window is open and decides to make her move. She goes on the offensive, charging in now that she thinks he's finally gassed out, but Bjorn was faking, ready to slam his paw down and end this fight for good. My man slams his paw down with enough force to shake the damn ground. He smashes a log, sending it flying as a distraction or a makeshift weapon. The saber-toothed mom goes airborne, claws out trying to get the drop on Bjorn. She lets out a massive roar, aiming to sink her fangs right into his neck, but Bjorn just swats her out of the sky, slamming her down like a damn rag doll. The saber-tooth mom is spitting blood, completely stunned that his trap actually worked. The poor cub peeks out from the bushes, watching its mom get absolutely wrecked. Young Bjorn starts gloating, asking her how she liked his Oscar-worthy performance. My man reveals he knew she was aiming for his nape because it's a classic move. He taunts the bloody saber-toothed mom, telling her she should have used her brain. Bjorn gets all condescending, saying she wouldn't get it since they're different species. Pinned down and bleeding, the saber-toothed mom still growls, refusing to give up. Young Bjorn taunts the pinned saber-toothed mom, asking what she's grumbling about. The saber-toothed mom sinks her fangs deep into Bjorn's shoulder, refusing to give up. Our boy's eye goes wide, completely shocked that she actually managed to hurt him. Bjorn starts thrashing around, absolutely losing his mind over her desperate counterattack. The saber-toothed mom screams at him to let go even though she's the one latched on. My man is flailing like a damn fool, complaining that this cat just won't let go. Bjorn lets out a genuine scream of pain as her teeth dig right into his muscle. He's still screaming his head off, realizing this thing is actually trying to kill him. The saber-toothed mom bites down even harder, refusing to give him a single inch. Bjorn goes full psycho, repeatedly smashing her into the ground while screaming for her to die. Young Bjorn keeps slamming the saber-toothed mom into the ground like a damn lunatic. The saber-toothed mom is a bloody mess after taking that absolute thrashing. My man is panting hard, finally realizing this fight actually took some effort. He stands over her body, calling her a leech for having the nerve to bite him. The saber-toothed mom is officially down for the count, completely wrecked. This psycho decides not to eat her yet, remembering there's still one cub left to terrorize. My man starts walking off, ready to go find the other kid to finish his sick game. A flock of vultures immediately descends on the saber-toothed mom's fresh corpse. The scavengers are already picking her clean, leaving absolutely nothing behind. We cut back to the bush where the cub is hiding, listening to the whole damn thing. The other saber-toothed cub is laid out dead, confirming Bjorn finished his sick game. The surviving cub peeks out of its hiding spot only to find its sibling's corpse. The poor kid is absolutely horrified, realizing its entire family just got wiped out. Young Bjorn lets out a massive bloody yawn, completely bored after his little massacre. He walks off exhausted but senses something is off, trying to dismiss the feeling. My man keeps walking, cursing as that bad feeling starts getting way too real. He finally breaks into a full-on panic run, realizing his gut was right. My man is sweating and screaming, finally losing his cool for the first time. He starts flailing wildly as something unseen begins to absolutely wreck his shit. His eyes roll back in his head as he realizes he's completely and utterly fucked. A giant rhino gives Bjorn the "you fucked up" stare right before the beatdown. The rhino absolutely body slams young Bjorn, giving him a taste of his own medicine. My man is on the ground sweating bullets as the rhino stands over him like a damn bouncer. And it turns out the rhino brought his entire crew, and they are all absolutely pissed. Young Bjorn is panting, finally realizing what it feels like to be on the receiving end. Our boy is completely surrounded by the rhino herd, looking for an escape he's not gonna find. The lead rhino roars, pretty much telling him he picked the wrong neighborhood to be a dick. Young Bjorn is having a full-on existential crisis, wondering how the tables turn so fast. The entire herd starts chasing his ass down as he questions his life choices. The narrator hits us with a flashback, explaining this whole mess started 6 months ago. Young checks his swollen paw, complaining that the injury is getting worse. My man is still pissed at the saber-toothed mom, blaming her for his busted paw. He spits on the ground in pure frustration, clearly not handling the pain well. Bjorn accepts his fate, admitting he can't even run with his paw this messed up. The dude decides hunting is impossible until he recovers, looking completely dejected, but he immediately switches back to his bully mindset, preferring to steal food anyway. He lists his usual victims, confident there are plenty of suckers to rob for dinner. Our boy heads out to find an easy target, ready to continue his reign of terror. The narrator drops a massive hint that my man's day is about to get ruined. Bjorn stops dead in his tracks, suddenly getting a very bad feeling about something. Young complains that after wandering all day, he hasn't even smelled blood. He sniffs the air, concluding that there's been absolutely no hunting going on nearby. Our boy questions if every other predator in the area decided to start fasting. My man gives up for the day, figuring he'll just have to search farther out tomorrow. He decides sleep and save his strength, convinced tomorrow can't possibly be the same. The narrator explains that Bjorn just thought it was an unlucky day and passed out. A whole murder of creepy-ass crows watches him from a tree, which is never a good sign. He sleeps soundly, completely oblivious to the absolute nightmare that's about to unfold. A time skip shows our boy wandering for 4 straight days without finding a single thing. On the 5th day, he finally stops, sensing that something is seriously wrong here. Young Bjorn finally stops walking, his foot hitting the ground with a thud of exhaustion. My man's face twists in confusion as the narrator confirms his slow ass is finally realizing the truth. He looks over the empty plains, wondering why every single animal just dipped out on it. The dude questions why the grasslands are empty as the narrator confirms things have gone very wrong. A light bulb finally goes off in his thick skull as he wonders if he's the problem here. Young Bjorn looks around, asking if everyone really left just to get away from his toxic ass. He stands alone in the vast plains, realizing he's the only predator left in this ghost town. The narrator explains everyone got tired of getting their lunch money stolen and their faces caved in. We see the wolf pack from earlier literally migrating because they'd rather starve somewhere else. Even the big cats packed their bags, leaving Bjorn's territory completely empty of competition. Young Bjorn's lip trembles in pure, unadulterated rage over being abandoned. My man throws a tantrum, calling everyone cowards for dipping out on his toxic ass. The narrator explains it's just survival. Showing the saber-toothed mom and her kid, we see the wolf pack chilling, proving that avoiding a psycho is a smart move. This dumbass screams for them to come back, still not getting he's the problem. The realization finally hits him that if he wants to eat, he has to actually work. My man finally decides to hunt for himself, booking it across the plain. He immediately starts chasing some deer, screaming at them like a complete lunatic. The narrator roasts him, saying his body and skills are trash for actual hunting. Our boy is already gassed, whining that the prey is too fast and he's gonna pass out. Young Bjorn's leg starts trembling uncontrollably from pure exhaustion and hunger. The narrator hits us with the, "But wait, there's more," as Bjorn looks absolutely furious. And just like that, my man completely wipes out mid-chase, eating a face full of dirt. He's on the ground complaining that his busted foreleg from that saber-tooth fight is acting up. Our boy realizes he needs to eat and rest to heal, but he's been running on empty for days. The narrator explains he's in a catch-22. Moving hurts him, but not moving means he starves. My man is officially stuck in a vicious cycle of pain, injury, and starvation. He's laid out, knowing he has to eat for his paw to heal, but he's got absolutely nothing. Young Bjorn gives up for the day, accepting he's going to bed hungry yet again. And he's back to eating grass, looking just as disgusted with his life as the first time. Young Bjorn complains about the nasty-ass grass, saying he can't even force it down. The narrator confirms our boy is finally realizing just how screwed he actually is. He admits he can't hunt with his busted leg and won't survive on a damn salad. My man knows he needs a lot of meat fast, but he's too gassed to go find someone to rob. He realizes that even if he doesn't starve, he's gonna get incredibly weak. The dude concludes he has to get food by any means necessary, whether hunting or stealing. The narrator agrees his analysis is correct, but there's a massive however coming. Our boy peeks through the grass as the narrator warns that a good plan can still go to shit. A couple of mastodons show up, and Bjorn immediately starts complaining about the noise. He admits he's not in a position to be picky and is actually considering this insane fight. My man decides he can't afford to wait and commits to this absolutely insane mastodon hunt. He immediately locks on to the baby of the group because, of course, he targets the weakest one. Our boy hides in the grass, planning to wait for the kid to wander off from the herd. His genius plan is to just wound it, let it bleed out, and then come back for the body. The narrator hits us with a everyone has a plan as Bjorn waits for his moment. And the punchline is a massive mastodon staring him down, completely ruining his death. Young Bjorn immediately panics and starts running for his damn life. My man is booking it across the plains as the entire herd starts to give chase. He's screaming his head off, finally realizing what it feels like to be the prey. And a massive tusk comes out of nowhere and absolutely sends him flying through the air. Young Bjorn is midair, screaming his lungs out after getting absolutely launched by that mastodon. A rhino gives him a cold, dead stare as he comes crashing back down to earth. My man slams into the ground as the rhino stands over him, ready to continue the beatdown. The rhino snorts in disgust while Bjorn lies there, completely broken and terrified. The entire rhino herd starts roaring in unison, and they are all absolutely out for blood. Young Bjorn is on the ground, panting, and finally realizing he has zero options left. He looks up to see he's completely surrounded by the pissed-off rhino posse. The lead rhino lets out a final war cry, pretty much signaling the start of the execution. Our boy has a full-blown panic attack, wondering how his life fell apart this damn fast. The whole herd charges as he questions how the hell he ended up on the receiving end. The narrator rewinds half a year to show us exactly where this dumbass went wrong. Young Bjorn complains his paw is getting more swollen instead of healing up. He's still throwing a fit over the saber-toothed mom, wishing he'd wrecked her corpse. My man spits in disgust, completely fed up with his current situation. He finally accepts reality, admitting he can't even run with his leg this busted. Our boy decides hunting is off the table until he's fully recovered from his injury, but he immediately goes back to his old ways, figuring he'll just steal food instead. He lists off all the predators he usually bullies, thinking he's got plenty of options. My man heads out to find an easy meal, but the narrator hints his plan is about to fail. Stops cold, suddenly getting a very bad feeling as he starts to sweat. Young complains that after wandering all day, he hasn't even smelled blood. He sniffs the air, concluding that there's been absolutely no hunting going on nearby. Our boy questions if every other predator in the area decided to start fasting or something. My man gives up for the day, figuring he'll just have to search farther out tomorrow. He decides to sleep and save his strength, convinced tomorrow can't possibly be the same. The narrator explains that Bjorn just thought it was an unlucky day and passed out. A whole murder of creepy-ass crows watches him from a tree, which is never a good sign. He sleeps soundly, completely oblivious to the absolute nightmare that's about to unfold. A time skip shows our boy wandering for 4 straight days without finding a single thing. On the 5th day, he finally stops, sensing that something is seriously wrong here. Young plants his foot, finally done with his pointless and hungry wandering. My man's face twists in confusion, admitting to himself that something is very, very wrong. The narrator confirms our arrogant boy is finally getting it as he questions the empty landscape. He wonders why the most fertile land is a ghost town as the narrator confirms his worst fear. The dude's eyes go wide as he finally asks the million-dollar question. Is this my fault? He looks down, sweating, as the horrible truth sinks in that everyone ran away from him. A wide shot shows him completely alone as he realizes he's the last predator standing. The narrator explains that getting murdered over a meal was no longer a viable option for anyone. We see the wolf pack again, confirming they literally packed up and moved to a new server. The big cats are shown dipping out too, leaving the neighborhood bully with no one to bully. Young Lip trembles in pure, unadulterated rage over being abandoned. My man throws a tantrum, calling everyone cowards for dipping out on his toxic ass. The narrator explains it's just survival, showing the saber-toothed mom and her kid. We see the wolf pack chilling, proving that avoiding a psycho is a smart move. This dumbass screams for them to come back, still not getting he's the problem. The realization finally hits him that if he wants to eat, he has to actually work. My man finally decides to hunt for himself, booking it across the plain. He immediately starts chasing some deer, screaming at them like a complete lunatic. The narrator roasts him, saying his body and skills are trash for actual hunting. Our boy is already gassed, whining that the prey is too fast and he's gonna pass out. His leg finally gives out, shaking like a leaf after that pathetic excuse for a hunt. The narrator chimes in to let us know that his problems are just getting started. Our boy completely eats shit, face planting in the grass like a total amateur. He immediately starts whining about his busted foreleg, still blaming that saber-toothed mom. The dude finally connects the dots. No food means no healing, and he's been starving. The narrator lays out his no-win situation. Starve by resting or get worse by moving. And just like that, our boy is trapped in a downward spiral of his own making. He's completely gassed, knowing his body won't recover without a meal he can't get. My man calls it a day, resigning himself to another night with an empty stomach. So it's back to the salad bar for dinner, and he looks absolutely miserable about it. Young Bjorn literally gags on the grass, spitting it out in absolute disgust. My man complains about how nasty the greens are, saying he can't even force it down. The narrator confirms our boy is finally realizing just how screwed he actually is. He admits he can't hunt with his busted leg and won't survive on a damn salad. My man knows he needs a lot of meat fast, but he's too gassed to go find someone to rob. The dude concludes that even if he doesn't starve, he's gonna get incredibly weak. He decides he has to get food by any means necessary, whether hunting or stealing. The narrator agrees his analysis is correct, but there's a massive however coming. Our boy peeks through the grass as the narrator warns that a good plan can still go to shit. A couple of mastodons show up, and Bjorn immediately starts complaining about the noise. Young Bjorn complains he'd rather fight something smaller, but knows he can't be choosy. He watches the herd pass, deciding he has to take this chance or starve to death. My man locks his sights on the smallest mastodon, naturally going for the easy target. He stays hidden, planning to ambush the young one when it gets separated from the group. The plan is to inflict a deep wound, let it bleed out, and then claim the body later. The narrator drops the "everyone has a plan" line as Bjorn waits for his opening. And here comes the punch to the mouth. A massive mastodon appears right in front of him. Our boy's face twists in pure terror as he realizes his genius plan just went to shit. He pops up from the grass, completely stunned by the giant that just snuck up on him. The mastodon lets out a furious roar, clearly not appreciating the attempted murder of its kid. Young Bjorn is sweating bullets, completely speechless at the massive unit in front of him. We get a close-up on the mastodon's eye, and it is absolutely filled with pure rage. Our boy finally accepts his fate, realizing his genius plan was a complete disaster. The mastodon immediately charges, and my man is way too slow to even react. And just like that, a close-up shows the massive tusk swinging with enough force to end his whole career. The mastodon's trunk smacks him midair, adding insult to some very serious injury. My man is sent tumbling through the air, completely out of control, and heading for a crash landing. He finally slams back down to earth, skidding across the ground like a damn ragdoll. Our boy is completely wrecked, finally admitting to himself that he's about to die. The mastodon stands over young Bjorn's body, ready to end this once and for all. The massive beast raises its foot, preparing for the final bone-crushing stomp. Our boy lets out a pathetic groan, knowing he's completely and utterly finished, and the mastodon stomps him into the ground, making him scream in pure agony. The mama mastodon and her kid watch as the dust settles on Bjorn's flattened ass. The mastodon turns its back and walks away, leaving our boy for dead in the grass. The big guy lets out a satisfied huff, clearly feeling good about that beatdown. The entire herd lets out a victory trumpet before finally deciding to move on. The herd leaves our boy's bloody broken body behind without a second glance. Young Bjorn is barely conscious, weakly wondering if the coast is finally clear. Young Bjorn lies broken on the ground, somehow still alive after that absolute beatdown. The narrator confirms our boy's life has officially hit rock bottom after that reality check. My man struggles to even get up, his body's shaking from the absolute thrashing he just took. He wonders if his arm is broken as the narrator confirms every inch of him got stomped. Our boy stumbles off thinking he's lucky to be alive, but the narrator hits him with a hard no. He collapses again, realizing it might have been better to just die than live like this. His paw trembles as the narrator confirms this new broken life is a living hell. The dude is panting hard, wondering why the lake suddenly feels miles away from him. He admits that with his busted body, even getting water is a mission, and hunting is impossible. My man is forced into a vegan diet, but that doesn't mean he stopped craving meat. Young explains that eating has become a miserable chore he only does to survive. My man admits that his new all-grass diet is causing him to lose all his muscle. He's looking scrawny as hell, confirming he's wasting away without any real food. To make matters worse, a couple of wolves start barking their heads off nearby. The wolf pack he used to bully is now chowing down on a fresh kill right in front of him. Our boy is absolutely fuming that even these pathetic wolves aren't scared of him anymore. He tries to save face, claiming he's leaving because they're filthy, not because he's weak. But one of the wolves decides to call his bluff and immediately charges at him. The wolf jumps right on his back, and our boy is completely shocked by the sudden attack. The entire pack swarms him as he panics, wondering why they've suddenly grown a spine. Young Bjorn is getting absolutely mauled in a dust cloud, screaming for the wolves to let him go. He finally breaks free and books it, calling the wolves crazy for having the nerve to fight back. The wolves watch him flee as the narrator confirms that his list of new enemies is growing. Now even the saber-tooths and jaguars are on his ass, and they look absolutely pissed. Our boy is sweating bullets, hearing the roars of every predator he's ever wronged. The narrator adds that even the damn kids are getting bold enough to challenge him now. A random bear dad roasts Bjorn from a distance, calling him a dying old-timer. The cub asks if that pathetic wreck is the infamous Bjorn, but his dad says there's no way. Our boy just keeps walking, completely defeated and knowing his reputation is in the gut. The narrator explains that even the animals he used to hunt are now openly mocking him. Young Bjorn stumbles through the woods, looking like a complete shadow of his former self. He admits he ran too hard on his busted body and probably tore a damn muscle. Our boy has a full-on meltdown, wondering how the hell he ended up this pathetic. He starts blaming the saber-tooth mom, wondering if that's where his downfall truly began. Or maybe he thinks it was when that mastodon herd used him as a damn doormat. He even wonders if it started earlier back when he was chasing everyone out of town. The dude is having a full-blown identity crisis, trying to pinpoint the exact moment he fucked up. He takes a heavy step, still lost in thought about where his life went completely off the rails. And his weak-ass body finally gives out, causing him to completely lose his balance. My man stumbles right off the edge of a cliff, his pity party coming to an abrupt end. Young goes tumbling down the cliff like a damn rag doll after his pity party. He slams into the ground, spitting up drool after that absolutely brutal landing. Our boy wakes up looking completely dazed, wondering what the hell just happened. The dude is so wrecked, has to ask himself if he's even still alive. He realizes it's already dawn, meaning he was knocked out cold for the entire night. My man looks up at the massive cliff in disbelief that he survived that fall. He figures the soft ground must have cushioned his fall, saving his pathetic ass. He starts boasting about being tough to kill but immediately spots something off-screen. A close-up on his eye shows he's locked onto something, and his luck might be changing. And there it is, a dead mastodon looking like a damn buffet just fell from the sky. Young Bjorn is speechless, finding not one but two dead mastodons at the bottom of the cliff. My man is completely baffled, wondering what the hell he's looking at after his string of bad luck. He cautiously puts a paw on the carcass, probably making sure he's not hallucinating from Hung. The dude confirms they're both dead, realizing he just hit the absolute jackpot. He's already planning his 2-month feast, but questions why these absolute units just dropped dead. Our boy inspects the bodies, noticing they're skinny but have no signs of a fight. He steps on the ground and realizes it's dry on top but sinks like quicksand. The dude realizes the sticky ground is a potential death trap, way worse than regular mud. He looks around, connecting the dots that this whole area is a mire disguised as solid ground. My man looks at the whole valley, guessing it's a dried-up riverbed that trapped the mastodon. Young confirms his theory, realizing the mire is what killed these absolute unit. He figures they chose the riverbed because it looked way easier than climbing the steep hills. The dumbass walked right into the valley, thinking they were taking a damn shortcut. And just like that, their feet got completely stuck in the mud, trapping them for good. They struggled until they were completely gassed and just died from pure exhaustion. Our boy realizes his scrawny ass is the only reason he didn't get stuck in the mire too. The narrator hits us with a fun fact about this actually happening to elephants in Africa. My man gets a little cocky, deciding he's just too damn hard to kill. He puts his paw on the free buffet, ready to finally get a decent meal. Our boy takes a massive bite, finally tasting meat after his forced vegan diet. Young Bjorn declares this is his rock bottom, and he's about to start his comeback tour. My man is absolutely demolishing this mastodon, getting his gains back one bite at a time. He vows to go back to being the absolute unit everyone used to be terrified of. The narrator confirms this is the moment our boy decided to finally get his shit together. He decides to start using his environment, realizing brute force alone ain't cutting it. And his first victim is a rhino screaming its head off after getting stuck in the mire. Our boy is shown chasing the rhino, using the Death Trap Valley as his personal hunting ground. The rhino was completely stuck in the mud, realizing it walked right into a trap. Young Bjorn roars, ready to finish the job now that his prey can't even move. He explains he doesn't have to run anymore. He just has to wait for idiots to get stuck. My man admits his new trap hunting method is simple enough for his broken ass to manage, but he knows he can't just wait for idiots to fall in the mud all day. He finds a rhino's leftover kill, proving he's officially a full-time scavenger now. Our boy waits in the bushes until the rhinos are gone, finally learning some damn patience. He admits he's not too proud to scavenge anymore, chowing down on the leftover. The dude finally accepts that, in his current state, those rhinos would absolutely destroy. He complains they didn't leave more meat, deciding to lay low until he's healed up. The narrator asks the big question, what happens when there are no leftovers to steal? And the answer is my man is back on his miserable all-grass diet looking defeated. He forces down the greens, saying he has no choice if he wants to fill his stomach. My man decides to just focus on filling his stomach and laying low in his new cave. He's finally using his brain, deciding to rest up and let his busted body actually heal. Our boy tells himself to be patient because this whole recovery is for his future comeback. 6 months later, he's finally healed enough to start exploring beyond his little death trap valve. A year in, his joints are back in working order, and he's moving like his old self again. After 2 years, even the wolf pack that jumped him is starting to look nervous as hell. Our boy is back on the prowl, and his old victims can't just ignore his presence anymore. He feels that old killer instinct returning, finally getting his confidence back after all this time. And in the 3rd year, he's officially back to snapping necks and cashing check. Young absolutely demolishes one of the wolves, officially announcing his return to the top. My man is panting after easily wrecking some young punk who dared to challenge him. He licks the blood off his lips, savoring that old familiar taste of victory. Our boy lets out a massive seething roar, officially announcing his return to the top. He's feeling the adrenaline rush, completely high on his own power once again. He looks down at the body of his challenger, confirming this is exactly what he wanted. The psycho gets a crazy look in his eye, loving the feeling of that heavy impact. He roars across the plains, letting everyone know the king is officially back in business. The dude calls this a refreshing day because apparently murder is his morning coffee. He lays down, wondering how long it's been since he felt this damn good. My man decides this is his true self, fully embracing his role as the apex asshole. Young Bjorn thinks a few more weeks of good food and rest will get him back to 100%. My man realizes it's been 3 whole years, admitting his comeback took way longer than he thought. He gets a determined look in his eye, clearly plotting his next move with zero remorse. The dude decides to go back to his old turf and just murder everyone this time around. This psycho plans to wipe out their kids too, making sure no one can ever challenge him again. He fantasizes about being the ultimate object of fear, carrying a dead cub as a trophy. My man wants to be so feared that no one would even dare to think about challenging him. He gets a sick smile on his face, genuinely excited for his upcoming murder spree. We get a peaceful shot of the forest, a calm before the absolute storm he's planned. The narrator hits us with a "what doesn't kill you makes you stronger" quote as Bjorn sleeps. The narrator hits us with a "however" as a mysterious cat walks through the grass. The narrator explains that the stronger through suffering rule applies to everyone, not just our boy. And it turns out someone else has been leveling up while Bjorn was on his comeback tour. The surviving saber-toothed cub is all grown up and just found the bastard who killed its family.
Alright, that's the end of the story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.